Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly, joined tonight by a panel of the real sports talk experts, KJ Zekman, Justin Godsey, and Akeem Balaam, recapping one of the craziest games in NBA Finals history. After the third quarter, guys, I thought this game was absolutely over. LeBron James was playing like trash through three quarters. He looked done. The Heat looked defeated, and the Spurs had a 10-point lead. And all of a sudden, LeBron James demanded the ball in the post, and he took this game over in the fourth quarter. He loses his headband, Mike Miller loses his shoe, and the Spurs lose the lead, and not only the lead in the game, but eventually the lead in the series in the NBA Finals, because the Heat get it close, and then Tony Parker comes up with a few clutch shots, a step back where he absolutely burned LeBron James to the point where the Heat were down 3, down to their last possession of the season after a missed free throw from Kawhi Leonard kept this game open. And LeBron James takes a 3, bricks it after getting them within 2 on the previous possession. He takes a 3, absolutely bricks it, but then Chris Bosh gets the rebound, tips it out to Ray Allen, who loves those corner threes. He ties the game, and late in this game, the Miami Heat go on to win. I'm going to recap more of the overtime, but I want to get everyone's thoughts. Akeem, first off, what did you think about this one?
One of the craziest NBA Finals games in history, one of the greatest. Certainly is definitely everything that you expect from these NBA Finals games. Like you said, after that third quarter, I thought it was over. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the Heat pick up their defensive intensity. LeBron takes over, like you said. And then, like I said, Ray Allen with that clutch three-pointer at the end. And then all of a sudden it's 95-95. And it was absolutely crazy. I could just feel that more and more throughout that fourth quarter, the Miami Heat were going to win this basketball game, and ultimately they were able to pull it off in an overtime period.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It felt over after that third quarter. The Heat looked defeated, and even at times in the fourth quarter, it felt like they were just going to come up a little short, but LeBron James didn't allow it. Ray Allen came up big late, and that small lineup that the Miami Heat go with occasionally, with the 3 shooters in there, and Chalmers, Mike Miller. I mean, Chalmers isn't technically a shooter, but he's really good from downtown when he's on. You got Chalmers, Mike Miller, and Ray Allen. When they go with that lineup, and then you insert Birdman with LeBron James, good things have happened in this series. KJ, I know you feel like the game would have ended in regulation had they not taken out Mike Miller and put injured Dwayne Wade back in the game.
Yeah, I was absolutely floored, as you could tell on Twitter, that they put back in Wade, especially when Wade took a bad shot as soon as he got back in and the ball wasn't working the way it was before. I was real upset about that, but you know, I really do like that lineup. I think that is a great, quick lineup, good shooters, and it really draws a lot of attention on the perimeter and gives LeBron a good chance to work inside as he's gone. He was on in the fourth quarter when he had the chance to do that. And I was just real upset with how they brought Wade in, and I really thought they would have had a chance to close it out in regulation if they didn't bring him in.
That lineup does bring a ton of energy. Now, you can't do that the whole game. You can't start that lineup, but for runs once or twice in a game, that is an extremely dangerous lineup when you do that. And then Eric Spoelstra, I didn't want him to not bring Dwayne Wade back in because Dwayne Wade wasn't having a great game. I didn't want him to bring Dwayne Wade back in, I think, from an observer's perspective, because Dwayne Wade did not look healthy. He didn't look like he had much to contribute in this game because both knees were bothering him after that collision with Manu Ginobili in the first quarter. I didn't think that was serving any purpose. It ruined the momentum in my mind. But they bring Dwayne Wade back in, and they're still able to walk away with the win. Justin, I know you thought this was one of the best games that you've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. This game was just edge-of-your-seat action. You know, I haven't really been onto the whole NBA scene a whole lot, but you know what? Able to sit down here and watch the entire NBA Finals, Spurs versus Heat, has been nothing but phenomenal, including this game. The Game 6, a game which I was actually pulling for the San Antonio Spurs in. The Heat come in. They were down going into the fourth quarter. Miami Heat just went straight to work, and they said, "Don't count us out." Ray Allen, a guy who I really looked up to playing, you know, independently by myself with my friends, playing basketball. He really is a clutch player. Big ups to Ray Allen, and you know, I also like to give big ups to Dwayne Wade coming back in. knee injury at all. And also, again, give a lot of respect over to Tony Parker as well, a guy who has been fighting, a hamstring injury for some time now. And a lot of people have been saying, it's going to tear any time. It's only a matter of time until we see Tony Parker tear his hamstring. And you know what? Tony Parker to fight through the hamstring injury, and also Dwayne Wade fighting through the injury tonight. Big ups to both sides. I was really entertained, and this game has got to be the greatest game I have ever seen face-to-face.
Yeah, it certainly was a tremendous game, back and forth, and it fell over even at the end after LeBron absolutely he bricked the three. It wasn't even really close to going in, and then Bosh tips it out. Chris Bosh came up big, both in regulation late with tips and rebounds, and then in overtime, his ass got destroyed by Tim Duncan early in this game, who had 25 in the first half, only 5 in the second half, though the Heat made some adjustments. They put Birdman in a little bit, which I like that energy that he brought, and then they also were able to put in Chris Bosh, who was more effective in overtime and had 2 big blocks to pretty much finish off the game, one on Tony Parker and then one on Danny Green in the corner to end the game. Now, the call that everyone's going to be talking about is the Manu Ginobili into the lane call, where Ray Allen stripped the ball, recovered it, and then they had to foul him. He hit the 2 free throws, which ended up making it a 103-100 game, rather than the Spurs going to the line with 2 foul shots to win the game. A lot of people are saying it should have been called, and I cannot live with having the NBA Finals decided on a call like that where you're sending a guy to the line to win the NBA Finals. I don't want to see free throws decide the NBA Finals, especially when it was not blatant. A lot of people are trying to make it sound like this was a blatant strip, a blatant foul. If any of you guys disagree, I'll give you a chance to talk then, but I did not think that this was a must call, and in that type of situation, it has to be a must call, blatant foul for you to decide the game in the NBA Finals on it. And Akeem, did you feel any differently?
I didn't feel okay at all, because like you said, you don't want games like this, especially a game that was as great as this. I mean, like you said, for 3 quarters, it looked like it was going to be a San Antonio Spurs coronation. But then all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, we know what happened in overtime. It turned out to be a very great game. And you don't want games like this being decided by the referees. You want it decided by the players out there on that court. These players for both teams, Miami Heat and San Antonio Spurs, they gave it they all. They fought till the end. The Miami Heat had a little bit more in them than San Antonio did. And, you don't want calls like this being decided, to decide an NBA Finals game like that. So I agree that it had to be a no call.
And I don't want to make it sound like that's an excuse for the Heat to win, because that's not. It's just like, I didn't think it was that bad. He touched his arm a little bit, but it was not to the point where he grabbed him and bear hugged him like Kirk Heinrich did to LeBron to end the 27-game streak. It was not like that type of foul. He stripped the ball. Did they make some contact? Yes, but it was not a ridiculous play. I thought it was a pretty nice strip by Ray Allen. KJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You really can't end a game like that. And the thing is you have to realize this is playoff basketball. This is NBA final basketball, and you have to realize that, especially in overtime, there's a big difference between what kind of fouls they're going to call in regulation and then overtime. There's a big difference. They're not going to decide a game with free throws, like you said, and they're not going to make those on-edge calls. They're going to let them play. They're going to let them play and end the game the way they did. They're not going to decide the game. The refs don't want that on their back, and that's just how the NBA is. That is how it works.
Yeah, and a lot of people talked about before this game when it was announced that Joey Crawford was going to be the ref, who doesn't exactly have a great reputation around the league. A lot of people said, I hope he doesn't decide this game for the Heat. If anything, throughout the regulation, the first 4 quarters, I'm not saying this to say that he did anything to help the Spurs win, but the calls were going in the Spurs' favor, and they were right calls. I'm not saying that they weren't, but the Heat certainly weren't given any gifts in regulation, and I think that that's a 50-50 call, and like KJ said, you just cannot decide the NBA Finals on sending Manu Ginobili to the line there. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree a whole lot with KJ, and you know what? A lot of people are hitting Twitter right now saying Joey Crawford comes up with a clutch in overtime, #rig, I'm reading all these. You know what? You cannot make these mistakes. Manu Ginobili, when I looked at the final play, we're looking at the Bosh play, looking at the Manu Ginobili play in the final, second and a half left in the game. when you looked at this play, a lot of people have been hitting up the Twitter, and social media has just been played a huge part also when it comes to with the fans and interaction. And I honestly think when it comes to that kind of scenario, people take that a little bit out of hand. When you look back and look at the play, Chris Bosh has just been coming up clutch in those situations where, in this game in particular, where he's just blocking shots left and right. And when you look at them, to me, they looked all clean. If you guys have a different, meaning to that, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. But you know what? When I look back and I looked at Chris Bosh's play today, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it was down the stretch. Early in this game, it was absolutely atrocious. But the Miami Heat escaped this, and that leaves out a lot from this game. That leaves out Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Even though this series has had a lot of one-sided games, we are going to a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, which will be this Thursday. It's going to be hard to beat this, but certainly the hype heading into it will be, can LeBron get the job done and win his second straight NBA Finals, or do Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili rebound from this one and win the NBA Finals, which would be the 5th for Tim Duncan? Let us know what you guys think in the NBA or in the comment section below about the NBA Finals in general and about NBA Finals Game 6. A crazy game. I think we all believe that this was not decided by the refs, but maybe some people think differently. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of LeBron haters that think differently in the comment section below, and some other NBA fans, I'm sure, think differently. It's not to say that all the people that think differently are LeBron haters, but it's going to be a majority. So let us know what you guys think. Hit us all up on Twitter, at @DJustinGodsey, at @CashKelly_TRST, at Li495 Akeem, and KJ, what's your Twitter?
Keith_Zeckman.
Hit him up for the realest mother effing sports talk there is. I'm Tim Kelly along with everyone from the Real Sports Talk. We'll see you guys next time.